Welcome to episode 28 of the Be More podcast. I'm your host Jack Williams, and today I'm joined by Kayleigh Dolman, who's been on the show before. She absolutely smashed it, and we're actually sharing some secrets that you might not know about our diets, including some previous eating disorders, if you want to call them that, and the kind of side effects that come with aggressive dieting. So this will give you a lot of insight into the aggressive dieting and some advice that we offer to try and steer you away from the potential side effects that we've seen from dieting, and ways to do things that are a lot more sensible to give you greater results that you can keep long term rather than be yo-yo dieting like me and Kayleigh have and like so many others have in this world. So yeah, without further ado, here's episode 28 of the podcast. Enjoy and let us know what you think. This is the Be More podcast. I am your host Jack Williams, and this is a show all about health, nutrition, mindset and performing at our very best, and this is going to be your catalyst to being more. Okay, what did I say, 28?
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 28 of the Be More podcast. I'm joined by our guest Kayleigh today, who has been on the podcast already. She smashed it, so she's back again. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. What's the topic today then?
The topic is relationship with food.
Boom. And yeah, what else we were touch on? We were going to touch on
Diet struggles,
the problem with aggressive dieting.
how you come out the other side.
Yeah. A lot of the things we'll share today are probably be things that you wouldn't expect us to be saying as fitness professionals, but we're honest, and there was a point at the time where I was a personal trainer where I would be scared to be honest about my struggles with food, and I know you're the same.
Yeah.
And obviously you're new to PT, or newer to PT now, aren't you? So how long have you been doing it for now?
Since January.
Cool. So in my first probably 3 years at PT, it was all highlight reel on social media. I wouldn't share the hard bits, and people would struggle to relate to me. So I think this podcast will probably shock a lot of people just to show you how much we struggle as well with diets, and obviously hopefully help you like relate to us and not think that we're these weirdos that just love the gym and only eat broccoli
and chicken.
Fair point.
Yeah.
And if you watched me on YouTube last week, I did eat a lot of chicken and broccoli while Robin was away, not gonna lie. She helped me vary my food and my diet massively. But I'll get started by what struggles I've had dieting and how I feel like I've overcome it, and then we can come on to yours in a minute.
Yeah.
And we'll make it into like a conversation rather than me just going on, because I'll just talk forever otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But I obviously followed aggressive diets when I competed and when I did photo shoots, like when I first got into the PT world, and even as recently as a year ago. And I got really good results, similar to yourself, got super lean, and it was via a way of dieting that was way too aggressive, so that it wasn't sustainable for me. So I'd get to the shoot or I'd get to the show, I'd look the best I've looked, but as a result of going that lean, there's a load of other things like side effects that we can go into as well, which will explain probably why I then come out the other end and binged for a long, long time and created a bit of an eating disorder. Yeah, that happened, and a lot of people know about that. So like I have shared about it a little bit since, but after the first show especially, I think I binged for I had no control over food for about 4 or 5 months. So I gained probably about the day after the show and the first show I did, I gained a stone in one day.
In one day?
Overnight. I gained 14 pounds.
Did you just non-stop eat after your show?
Actually no, it was 2 days. So on that night I had a pizza and a load of cookies, went to bed feeling awful. Didn't win the show either, so I woke up feeling the next day thinking, fuck's sake, but I was excited because I planned for the whole 12 weeks of that diet what I was going to eat on that day after the show. And it was not obviously healthy at all. But on that diet, I ate the same food every day for 12 weeks. So I'll tell you what I had. I had 5 eggs for breakfast. Horrendous. It took me about an hour to eat them every morning. Actually, is that true? No, I didn't. I had pancakes for breakfast every day. So I had 2 eggs, 5 egg whites, I can remember it off the top of my head, 50 grams of banana, blended all up together, and had as pancakes every morning. I enjoyed them, to be fair. And then I had chicken and rice twice, and then I would have salmon, sweet potato, and then I would have steak sweet potato.
Mm.
And then before bed, I think I had a shake. This was a diet that I was given to by a guy who's known in the industry as one of the best coaches in the world. And for me, he wasn't the best coach in the world because he gave me one diet that I had to do for 12 weeks, didn't change. And yeah, I had to follow that for 12 weeks every single day. It was expensive as well, so I had to eat fillet steak and salmon every day, which ain't cheap. Anyway, got really lean, got great results, didn't do loads of cardio, but managed to get on stage, didn't win, and then as a result, I've eaten the same food all the time. I got bored, and I was like, all the things I wanted to eat, in my head I had this craze about food. And I'd go on Instagram, I'd look at the burgers on there, I'd look at the cakes, I'd be like, I'd save it, I'd put it into a folder on my phone, all the things I wanted to eat once I'd done my show. So obviously this whole relationship with food in my head was building up to a point where I was ready to just go and eat everything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people when they go on a diet, like, I'm not going to eat chocolate. And I'm just like, that's the worst thing you can do, because the minute you finish your diet, or whenever you get to that point where you're like, I'm good, you're going to eat all the fucking chocolate then.
It's like when you say to someone, don't think about something, that's the first thing you think about.
White polar bear.
Yeah.
Like, you never was thinking of a white polar bear, but now I've mentioned it, you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the first thing I did was obviously I cut everything out, therefore the main thing I wanted were the things that I cut out. So I'll never go down that approach again with dieting. Anyway, after that, I then binged for, like I said, months. So I'd diet really well all day after the first few days of binging, and then in the evenings, when I had a bit of free time, I'd eat, and I wouldn't be able to stop.
So would your binge be like all day?
No. So I'd eat clean all day.
Yeah.
And then I'd go home in the evening, and then when I finished like my last bit of work for the day, I'd be like, it's jack time now. Or I'd start eating, I'd have dinner, maybe 8 PM, 8:30, and then the cereal would come out, I'd probably do a whole box of cereal, whatever was in the house I basically would eat. And it would just not stop. And I'd go to bed massively bloated, feeling shit about myself, and I'd be like, no, tomorrow I'm back on it. I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get it right. And then this went on for months, and I'd be like, what the fuck? I gained weight, but I didn't get fat, but I didn't look very good. I wasn't happy with how I looked. I wouldn't take my top off in public. And I was like, this ain't right. And I think there was a point where I was like, I'm gonna stop this now. Never competing again, not doing it. I was super unhappy, but went travelling. Went for 3 months, didn't train once. So this is what happened. I love training, I love the gym. It made me, that aggressive form of dieting, that aggressive form of training made me never want to train. So I went travelling for 3 months. I went to the gym twice, I think, in that 3 months, just to check out gyms in Sydney or wherever I was. And I was like, fuck it, I've never told this story before. I'm actually getting a bit of a high heart rate. And yeah, so I was like, I'm never doing that again. Travelled.
Sorry.
No worries. This is popular. And then got back, and silly Jack thought, to get myself back up and running again, I'm going to do a show. So obviously travelling taught me nothing. It taught me a lot, but I was like, right, I'm going to build my business back up, I'm going to YouTube it, I'm going to start creating content. That was like a year ago, or just over a year ago. And that's when my business started to really explode, because I was putting content out there, but I thought I must do a show to document it. And I wasn't in very good shape, so I was like, I'm going to get in great shape via this diet. But I'm not going to do it on a meal plan again this time. I'm not going to have a binge again this time, because I'm going to do it flexibly. Flexible dieted the whole time, loved the whole prep, but there was still times where it was too extreme. And I got so lean again that all of these problems come back again. So, like, as a guy, if you get super lean, you won't get a boner, you'll lose your sex drive, that all goes. And yeah, I was so lean that I'd have my hunger hormones were completely out of sync. So there's the hormones called ghrelin and leptin, completely gone. I would not feel full, so I could eat and eat and eat and eat, and I'll never be able to say, no, that's enough. So I've done the show, come third? Got third, yeah. And then qualified for the British finals, but I was like, on that day, I was like, I'm not doing anymore. And I've stuck to that since I'll never compete again, because of how aggressive it was. And no guy never wants to be able to get a boner, and no guy wants to have a problem with food. So it didn't make sense. So people were like, wow, you look fucking incredible, like a superhero, but I didn't fucking feel like a superhero. I felt awful. And that medal was not worth it at all. And whenever I see guys compete now, I think, fucking fair play, like what you've gone through, but I don't feel sorry for you, because, well, what you're going to go through now, I do feel sorry for you, because you've got to have such discipline post-show and post-shoot to not binge. And then you gain a load of weight back on, and it's demoralising because you've worked so hard to get in great shape, and then it's all gone, and you don't share that on social media.
No, unless they share the day of the show.
Yeah.
And then they won't share how it is after.
Like, you'll follow these people on Instagram who are in unbelievable shape. The chances are they're not in that shape all the time, and they have to put their life on hold to get into that kind of conditioning. They'll take a year's worth of Instagram photos in that week that they're lean, and they'll distribute them throughout the year. The rest of the year they're not that lean, nor are they that happy with how they look. And there's us thinking their goals.
Yeah.
They're the people I want to be like, and we're like setting these expectations of ourselves that aren't attainable because you just can't. And so yeah, that was October last year. So I spent 3 months not binging as badly, but it would be pretty much binging still. I couldn't control my evenings again. And it got to like November, so it was about 2 months of overeating, and I thought I'm going to book a photo shoot with my clients and I'm going to diet, get myself in good shape, and then go to Australia for a month. So I got in good shape again, but then I did it in a way that was much more sustainable. I didn't bring calories nowhere near as low, and I had no more. My food obsessions had gone to a point. So done that, got in good shape again, and then did Australia, and health seems to have come back from bringing calories higher. So, but yeah, these are the side effects that no one knows about, that health can be compromised massively. I might have looked healthy, but I certainly wasn't feeling it.
No. And
now I'll just diet and train in a way that's so optimal for performance and how I feel versus how I look, and as a result I don't binge anymore. I'll have a dinner and I'll feel full. That never used to happen. Like, I used to have, everyone used to think I had a crazy appetite. I didn't. I just couldn't stop. Because my hormones were so out, I didn't have the ability to say I'm full. So my hormones, leptin and ghrelin, weren't sending signals to my brain saying that's enough. Whereas now, I actually feel full, and it's so nice to be able to eat a dinner and be like, I'm done. Whereas before I'd have dinner, then have the next thing, then have the next thing, and yeah. Now I've got to the point finally where everything is just normal, and I can eat like a normal person, and I can sustain a good physique all year round because I've found that balance. But it's taken me 2 episodes of borderline eating disorders and 2 multiple photo shoots, multiple shows to realise that it ain't about that, it's about how you look and feel all the time. It's taken me a long time to realise that.
Do any of you, like, your old behaviours, like binging and stuff, does that ever resurface now?
Not really, no. Not really. And I think it also helps the people that you surround yourself with. So if I was around someone else who would be like smashing food in, then maybe. But not really, no, because I get full. So whereas before I wouldn't have any signals saying I've had enough. Whereas now I just won't feel like eating. Whereas before that wouldn't happen. So I think that is a result of bringing up my health and my hormone levels back up from eating a high calorie diet and eating like a normal person again. That brought everything back up, but it takes so much time, and it can take 6-7 months for that to happen. So yeah, I had to be disciplined to know that I have to bring food back up and eat in a healthy way for a long time to bring things back up. So no, not really. But there might be a night where I'll be like, Oreos will come out, but I'll never eat like ridiculous amounts. And my relationship with food now is actually good. Like, if I had something bad, it wouldn't bother me. Whereas if I had something bad before, it would lead to everything else in that day, and then I would just feel shit, then it would just be a cycle of, and it'd be just this way of looking at food as good or bad, whereas now I look at all food as even, and if I have like a cake, it doesn't matter, I'll just eat my normal food next. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before if I had a cake, it would lead to 10 cakes, and then the next day I would just feel shit. And I know everyone else feels this way because they're on this whole mindset that it's, if you're eating good, you're on your diet. If you're eating bad, you're not. Or if you're counting your calories, you're on your diet. If you're not on your diet, you know. So I want people to lose this idea of, well, it's just this bad relationship with food, which is so common. And I think if professionals are honest about it as well, that we're like nutritionists, if we're honest about the fact that we haven't got it all fucking sussed out, but it's a evolving, like, constant learning process of how to eat, what triggers we got, like, because everything's a trigger as well, isn't it? Some people have got different triggers to others, and
But that's like the whole thing, I guess, with like Slimming World. Like they're either on plan or off plan, but then they have their sins, which then is giving like food a negative relationship with food, which kind of isn't great. And I know that Slimming World does work for like a lot of people, but it's just the way that how they're either on plan, and if they're off plan, they tend to binge and put on loads of weight, and they kind of go back to where they were starting off with. And that's kind of like how I've lived a lot of my life, is like a big yo-yo diet. Like I'm dieting, I'm not dieting, I'm dieting, I'm not dieting. I don't think I've ever eaten at like maintenance calories ever. It's either, oh no, I want to lose weight, I want to lose body fat, I want to get leaner.
Yeah, and as humans, we're never content with how we are.
No.
So it was a difficult thing for me to be like, I'm just going to try and maintain, but I found that by maintaining, I've had the best results in my physique I've ever had, because I'm not constantly either binging or under eating. My body just feels good, so hormonally it's way more advantageous for me to do that, to support my training, support my recovery. Yeah, I just feel, I don't know, it's mad, I feel better than ever. So almost maintaining has been the best thing ever for me, because I'm almost gaintaining. I've only heard of the film, it's a 3DMJ saying the bodybuilding gaintaining, where you hit maintenance calories, but you're building muscle because everything's a lot more hormonally beneficial. And plus all of the myths about you have to be in a surplus to grow have all gone now. You can be in a deficit and growing, so you can still be at maintenance calories, so be it, but still make great progress. And I think that's what people are worried about. Like maintaining sounds boring, but you actually get great results doing it, just by bringing not calories to a maintenance level, but to a higher level than what you normally diet at, simply because it's better for your body. And yeah, you want results quick, and we can diet you harder than normal, but I said to you a lot in your check-ins, like the harder we diet you, the harder it's going to be for you. Not just now, because you're motivated now, it'd be easy for you now, but it's post-shoot or whenever it comes to the point where you're like, okay, I want to be normal again, it's hard to reverse out of a hard dieting phase. So it's such a massive subject, and we probably did about 1 million episodes on diet alone.
Yeah.
But tell us about your experience.
So my experience is like obviously a lot more raw than yours, because it's quite recent, obviously coming out of the photo shoot. And like even like the diet up into like to the shoot, it wasn't really restrictive at all. Like I had my calories, I could eat whatever I wanted. But I think I found as my calories come down as we got closer to the show, and they never got like ridiculously low, I would always try and eat cleaner, because I would get more for my money, if you like. Like for your calories, you can have, if you eat like a lot of veg and things like that, like you can have bigger meals. So if I wanted to, I could have had a chocolate bar, but I didn't want to waste 200 calories on a chocolate bar. I'd rather have it, like I could nearly have a meal for that.
Yeah.
So I kind of like got into that kind of routine, and then like once you know what you can eat for your calories, I kind of was having the same kind of foods, because it was just easy and it would just work. And then obviously, I went into the photo shoot, I felt really good. I was tired, like the couple of weeks up into it, because like it was lower calories than I've been used to, and I was training hard.
How low did we bring your calories in the end?
1,250.
And most women diet on way less than that, don't they?
Yeah, a lot less.
And if you were posting your meals on Instagram, like what my diet looks like in a day, most people probably couldn't eat that much food.
No.
Because you were making them calories go so far, and you were saying to me, like in your check-ins, I'm really hungry, and I'd be like looking at your food thinking, how is she hungry? Like she's eating so much. You were just bossing the macros and bossing the calories, making it go so far for your money, like you said. And it was all psychological, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was all in my head, I think, because like you tell yourself that you're hungry, and you are hungry, and it's like I'd find days where I was so like busy and things with work that I wouldn't even really think about food. It was then when I actually was thinking, okay, what am I having to eat next? Then I would keep thinking I was hungry. When, I don't know, I think on 1250, like that was too low for me. Like I couldn't sustain that for like a long period of time.
Yeah.
But obviously it worked in the lead up to the photo shoot and helped me like kind of get better results. But yeah, and even like the day of the photo shoot, like I don't think afterwards, obviously we had like cake and stuff, and then we went out for Seven Bone. But even like my meal at Seven Bone, like we ordered loads of food, and I don't even really know why we done it.
Yeah.
Because like I obviously wanted it, because it's the fact that I was restricted for that period of time up until it. So then it's like, oh, you've got freedom. I can have whatever I want. Like.
Was it freedom?
Not really. No.
Did it make you feel good?
No, made me feel shit afterwards. And I was like, why did we? because we had like a burger each, then we had a burger to share, and it's just like, why?
So was it just that meal, or has it been since then you've just been a little bit...
No, since then as well, like, it's been hard trying to like regain control of it all. And then like, so I had a holiday as well, which kind of helped me stay on track a bit for the couple of weeks afterwards, which was okay. But then obviously since I've got back from that holiday now, it's been like the last couple of weeks have been really, really hard. Just trying to...
And what are the main things that you struggle with?
Just like, I think like I'm all or nothing. So I'm like, okay, if I'm tracking, then I'm going to have a good day tracking. If I'm not tracking, I might as well just eat whatever I want. It's like that mentality of being all or nothing. And it's like having that freedom now where I'm like, okay, well, I went out for meals before, but I was kind of like, would always go for like the healthier options. And like some things about that like infuriates me. Like you go out for a salad and you pay like £10.50 for them to give you like a bag of salad and a chicken breast. And that's the same as like a burger. And like this is something that my sister says to me, because she's doing like, she's in a calorie deficit at the moment. And she was like, I want to go out. I don't want to pay all that money for a salad. I want to pay that money for something nice, which I get. But it's like, it's a bit infuriating. But it's having that like, that freedom now to kind of have whatever, and I can go out for meals, but then I still have a really bad mentality from like before, of where it's kind of like, I might, like I said, like you're either on plan or off plan. Like I do that myself.
Yeah.
And it's trying to break that and get that balance.
But you've been tracking for so long now, you don't need to track, do you really?
No.
But you've got this relationship with, if you track, you're on it. If you don't, you're off it.
Yeah.
And your body has no idea whether you've tracked or not.
No.
So, like, you're only going to gain body fat by eating too many calories, not by the fact that you've tracked or not on MyFitnessPal.
No.
Yet you're on it or you're off it if you track on MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of things that these apps will encourage great behaviours and also bad ones. And it's all down to your perception on how you use them. And I'll be exactly the same. Like, if I was on it, I'll be tracking. If I wasn't on it, I wasn't tracking. It's taken me a bit of time to realise that there's no fucking difference to the food I'm eating right now to how I would be about tracking, minus the fact that I'm just not tracking anymore. I'm intuitive versus tracking. And yeah, there's days where I will track because I want to try and produce content for people and I want to show them what's in it. But if days I'm not tracking or not producing content, I won't track because I don't need to anymore. I know what X amount of protein looks like. I know if I've eaten too many calories because I can kind of see in a meal. But these are all skills that you have to develop by tracking. So if you're listening to this now and you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to track calories, you kind of have to. It's like trying to learn to ride a bike without putting stabilisers on it in the first place. Like, you don't know, it's the blind leading the blind, isn't it? Be like, I'm just going to do it with intuitive eating. It'll work to a point, but like if you want to guarantee an incredible result and learn about nutrition in the whole process, lots of flies in it, then that's worth doing. That's why I think you'll teach a lot of clients now how to count calories, become more nutritionally aware. So what we're saying is learn the basics, learn the fundamentals, and then eat in a way that's most sustainable for you, whether it be tracking calories or not. But don't have this relationship where you're either on it or you're not.
Yeah.
Just support how you want to feel and like how you want to look, and reverse engineer that and just eat based on that, you know. And if you have a bad meal, it doesn't matter. Like, the next meal can be a good one. Whereas as a nation, as a world, I think we have a bad meal, and that leads to constant bad meals. And we have to wait till Monday till we're back on it.
And you think you've had like one bad thing, so I might as well have lots of bad things, and then we start again the next day.
Yeah, or Monday normally, isn't it? Because on the next day you're like, oh, but yesterday I fucked it anyway, so I might as well wait until next week. And the body doesn't know what day it is. The body doesn't know it's Monday. The only thing that knows it's Monday is your mindset. And the sooner you can conquer your mindset in anything, whether it be diet, training, business, like whatever you're doing, fucking relationships, it's all mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's how you view things. And I think it's just trying to break away. It's just trying to break away people like that. Because of your bad habit, like not bad habits, but the way that you kind of always just lived your life, like you're always kind of going to revert back to that, and it is just trying to break that and just trying to think about things in a different way. And
it's all perspective, isn't it?
Yeah. And
also, there's always a fear of failure in everyone. Everyone has this fear of, oh, I'll fail. Just lose that, because you're going to regret not doing it more than you regret trying. So don't worry about failing. Don't worry about having a bad meal. It's not a failure. It's life. You're supposed to go and eat shit every now and then. It's fun. So.
And I kind of try and take things like what I learn, like I try and learn from it. So like how it makes me feel after having it. I try and remember that now, which I kind of didn't before. I mean, obviously, I've had like since the photo shoot, I've had like bad days. Like I would try and justify like, okay, we're gonna go and get some pick mix for the kids, and then we put it in a bowl and we sit down and watch TV together like with the kids. But then they wouldn't end up eating half of it. I would then eat it, and then they would go to bed, and then I'd finish the bowl off. And it's like, then I would feel shit. But I would make the mistake the next day of what I tell everyone not to do is over-restrict your calories. So I'm like, oh, I'm not really that hungry in the morning, so I'm not going to eat. Oh, I'll try and long it out. I need to eat less calories because I ate loads yesterday. And then you get to the later point in the day, and the same thing happens again.
Because you're overly hungry because you restricted yourself.
Yeah. And that's why, like, trying to break that cycle, so like just upping your calories a bit and just kind of eating, just like consistently across the days, I think is the best way to try and break that like binge restrict.
And even if you want to put it into like an equation just to prove people that it would work better, so if you imagine, let's say as a woman you're dieting 1,000 calories a day, which is massively restrictive, Monday to Friday, that's 5,000 calories Monday to Friday. You're probably going to only eat 6,000 calories Saturday and Sunday because you've over-restricted all week.
Yeah.
So you're still hitting 17,000 calories in the week. That was quick maths from me, you're impressed.
Well, yeah, pretty quick.
Whereas, if you were to eat 2,000 calories a day, you'd eat 3,000 less calories in a week. And you'd probably lose body fat that week. And you do it in a way that's more sustainable. You can eat pretty much anything you want almost. And it's not going to encourage bad behaviours and bad relationships with food. So I think I always try and steer people towards the most sustainable approach of eating to get you the results that you're trying to get to, rather than being aggressive. Every way works, every diet works. It's the one that it's about being self-aware and knowing which works best for you. That's what we have to talk about a lot in your check-ins, is like what makes you feel best. And if it is tracking, and if you do correlate that with your success with food eating, initially you have to go and do that until you can lose that whole mindset that if I'm not tracking, I'm not a success. So what else do you want to say about yo-yo dieting? Obviously massive in not just women, in men as well.
Yeah.
What diets have you tried before?
Weight Watchers, Slim and Wild, Slim and Fast, Cabbage Soup Diet, Atkins Diet. Pretty much all of them I've tried before, and they never worked.
Didn't get you results, or they did initially?
Well, they did, and then I thought, oh yeah, I've lost the weight now, I can just go back to eating normal. And then put the weight back on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been a massive yo-yo dieter for my whole life, I think. And then I think I've been like a bit of a binger as well, to be fair, because I'd go on all these diets and then I'd go back to eating normal, and I would have like big binges and just eat loads of food because I'd restricted myself so much.
Yeah. So it's all of these diets that I think are encouraging the obesity and the overweight epidemic that we've got in this country, because people are just overly dieting, overly restricting themselves, encouraging bad behaviours, leading to binging, and they're just gaining weight. And they go on the next diet, that one didn't work either, then they just get fed up of failing, and then they get to a point where, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
And then they just constantly eat, and then the food that's available now versus 30, 40 years ago is more leading us towards gaining more and more weight, high fat, like all of this stuff is just like, it's not helping, is it?
No. And then I get, when you think like, oh fuck it, like you don't care. Like I had this is how I was feeling, like I just didn't care. I don't care like what I'm eating, I just eat whatever. And it's like, that's when I think you get to that point where you're just so like tired from all the yo-yo dieting, you're like, I'll just give up. And then you just kind of just eat everything, and then you just feel awful for it.
Yeah.
And it's just a downward spiral, and it's just so hard to try and break because you just feel shit, so you don't want to give yourself good food, so you just eat shit.
Yeah.
And you feel worse for it.
And it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
That people are constantly on, whether that it's just the hamster wheel, isn't it?
And that's exactly like how I felt a couple, like I said to you, didn't I, in my check-in?
Yeah.
I just don't care. And it's trying to, I don't know, just break that.
And it's such a shame because nutrition, exercise, like they're there to support all of your life goals and everything that you do, because they're there to make you feel better, and everyone abuses them. They're either overtrained because they want to always train, or they want to burn off the calories they overate or whatever. They don't see it as a means to a improvement of life. They see it like a means to an end to, don't know, just to recover the damage they're doing from constant excessive eating or they're not eating in a way that's going to make them perform better and be a better role model, or be a better parent, or be a better personal trainer, or be a better as the shift worker, you know, like all these things, that because nutrition is there to do that. It's there to fuel us. And yeah, I think it's such a shame that people have this relationship with food where it's a bad thing rather than a good thing. I'm not saying everyone does, but the more education we can provide to people in a sustainable way, which I know you're doing via your 60-day fat loss plans that you can talk about in a minute, and you can talk about the phases and the process of that and how it's helping people. And yeah, and I think us just being honest about it as well will make people open up to understand that it isn't just them, like it's everyone that goes through this, and we're not like these freaks that have no taste for Haribo sweets or any of the bad things. Trust, like we love them as well. It's just trying to find a way to make everything match up so that you get what you want from the foods that you eat, from regards to taste, performance, how you feel mentally. All these things are so important.
Yeah, like the mental side of it, definitely. Like emotional eating is massive, and it is massive for me as well.
Yeah.
Like if I'm happy, I want to eat. If I'm stressed, I want to eat. If I'm sad, I want to eat.
Yeah, it's a massively linked to, like you say, how you feel.
Yeah.
And if people have a bad day, they'll either go and drink a shitload, or they'll eat a shitload. Or if they have a really good day, they celebrate with drink or food. And it's, I don't know, it's just not good, is it? Like, it is and it isn't. And I think if you've got that balance there, then it's a really good thing. If you haven't, then it can be something that leads you massively astray.
Yeah.
And what we don't want is people to think negatively towards food, and then as a result, it's a knock-on effect on everything in their life. So if they're eating badly, they're performing badly at work, and they're in a bad mood because of that, or because of all these things that accumulate, therefore they can't be the person they want to be, they can't chase the things they want to go and chase because they're feeling down about life and about themselves. And we all know that in order for us to move forward, we have to feel positive, we have to have self-belief, we have to be confident to be more. And you can't have them things if something like as important as your diet or your exercise routine isn't happening. So we need to set expectations of ourselves that are more sustainable and then be able to attain them. Do you agree?
I completely agree, yeah. Definitely, it is just finding that balance, and that balance won't be the same for everyone. It'll be different for every single person, and
Exactly.
It's kind of just, and then you're not going to find it overnight either. It's going to take months, maybe even years to find what works for you.
And people will be listening to this thinking, he's like mental talking about food in this like as an obsession. But for us, it has been an obsession, and it still is an obsession to both of us in at some point.
Yeah.
And it is part of our everyday lives. We teach people on nutrition, and we're trying to get people to have healthier habits. So it is something that we're constantly thinking about and constantly trying to
even more so for us
work on.
as like personal
definitely.
things. Like I talk to people about diet, like I don't know how many times a day. Or talk to people about food so many times a day. And
there's almost this added pressure where we're obviously educators of it, and if we can't stick to it, then surely there's something wrong with what we're trying to teach, you know. And I think that's super important to mention as well. So like, for example, if you go to a class like a swim world class, and the lady taking the class can't stick to the diet herself, like what kind of inspiration is she to her class? But then she might have lost loads of weight and she might still offer that kind of inspiration, but it's always subjective to what you as a consumer want to go and learn from, or you know what I mean? Everyone's got a different way of learning and being supported, I think. So it's, like you said, it's massively subjective, but
and it's just being educated, I think, about food as well, because with the whole good and bad like foods, like I put something up on my Instagram today, and it's like Special K cereals for the same amount of calories you can have the same amount of sugar puffs. And like people who are on a diet are like, oh, I'm having my Special K in the morning. So well, if you want, you can have a bowl of sugar puffs. They'll be like, oh no, I'm not having that. It's exactly the same amount of calories. So if you kind of like educate yourself more around what you're eating, even just reading like the packets, seeing how many calories are in things, then you don't have to restrict them foods, so you're not going to get that kind of relationship.
So how does the 60-day fat loss program that you run work?
So the guys on the 60-day program, they get given like 3 targets that we ask them to work towards. So it's based individually on each person. We calculate like what their calories would be, and we put them into a calorie deficit. So they get a calorie target. They also get a protein target, just to ensure their diet's like high in protein. And then we also give them a step target which we kind of assess what they're like at the moment, like how much they move, and give them a target to work towards. And then obviously we just review it at the end, like 30 days and 60 days at the end of the programme. But I think like a lot of people who have been doing it, because we're at the 30-day mark now, they feel like they've not even been on a diet like for the 30 days, and it's opened their eyes up to like what's actually in foods and what they can eat. They don't need to restrict themselves. We also do like weekly webinars where we like teach them about macros, energy expenditure, hormones, just how things like that can affect fat loss.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And how can people get in touch with you to do that and stuff?
Just on social media, we've got an Instagram page which is like 60-day fat loss revolution, or there's like 4 coaches involved. So there's me on my page, and then there's MH Fitness, LC Fitness, and Peter. I can't remember his Instagram handle. He's going to kill me.
Yeah, he's going to be not.
Peter Cheeseman, personal trainer. But yeah, we're all on that. We've got our own Instagram page anyway, so all right there.
Have you had clients or people on that course be like, I'm not dieting aggressively enough?
Yeah, when they start it, they say they can't eat that many calories. They feel too full.
Yeah, and they directly think this can't be making me lose weight.
Yeah, they're like, how can I eat so much?
And then have they lost weight?
Yeah.
Like, I've had clients before who have I had a client who lost a stone in a month, and she didn't have that much weight to lose. And she went, Jack, I need this to be harder, I don't feel hungry. And I said to her, what are you on about? You've lost a stone, your measurements are incredible, you're performing better in the gym. She's like, yeah, no, it's not hard enough. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, she had to feel like she was struggling for her diet to be working.
That's amazing. Why?
No,
you want a diet to...
And this is the problem we have with perception. Like,
yeah.
I said to her, no problem, let's go for a coffee, let's talk it through. And I had to try and educate her for an hour, and I still had to bring her calories down, simply because to get her to buy in, it had to be more aggressive. And I think that's what you said earlier, it's subjective. Like, I have to give her that, because I have to get her buy-in for her to be compliant. Like, she was sticking to it, but she was like, nah, Jack, I'm eating too many calories. I'm like, you're definitely not. You're performing better than ever in the gym because of this. And she's like, no, need to go lower. So I think it's so important to have that level of self-awareness and let people have what they want to a point, and guide them on a way of doing things that works for them. So if you're listening to this now thinking, I don't have a fucking clue what they're on about, but I want to work on this, then chat to me or Kayleigh, because we can help you with this and teach it based on you as a person and not on a blueprint we've built. There is no blueprint. That's why it's called personal training, because it's teaching each person as an individual how to make their diet work better for them and their exercise work better for them, so then they're going to get better results.
It's like the principle of it is the same, isn't it? Like, you need to be in a calorie deficit, but what works for you isn't going to work for someone else. What makes them feel good probably won't make you feel good. Yeah. So it is just,
And as trainers, obviously, the longer we're in the game, the more people we work with, the more an understanding we get of what works well for different people. And I'll have some clients now who won't even look at MyFitnessPal. And the majority will, because I think it's a great app to teach people. But if someone's got really obsessive tendencies in their life already, the last thing I want to do is add in something like MyFitnessPal. Or if they're really busy, they haven't got time for MyFitnessPal, but they'll have their meals delivered if I tell them what to have or whatever. And it's just, every person is subjective. But as long as you say, the principles are met, like, we know how many calories they're kind of eating towards. We know that in order for them to get better results, they need more protein in their diet. I know that if I put a chicken breast in there, or I try and get them to eat this in there, it's going to increase their protein intake, they're going to get better results. And there's definitely no correlation between the more someone tracks, the better the results are. Because I've got a client in a minute who's smashing it, not even looked at MyFitnessPal once. I'm just saying to him, eat this, and he's like, no problem. And that's how it works for him. He wants me to be like, do that, eat more of this, and then I'll just say to him why he's doing it, and it's going to make him look more of a fucking superhero, more of a bloke. That's what he wants to look like, therefore that's got his buy-in. Whereas if I say, oh, you need to get 180 grams of protein per day on that app, if you do that, I guarantee you're going to look better. If for him it wouldn't work. Whereas if I say that chicken breast, that tin of tuna, that shake or whatever, accumulated over time, if you don't want that day, have this instead, you're going to look like what he wants to look like. Just reverse to his goal, he's told me already. It's all mindset based, and you've got to, I think this is what I've learned as a coach. Like, before it would be very to the letter, this is the science, you have to follow the science, and they'd be like, fucking hell. They don't want to know these things, and I think that's super important to understand. And it's so good that you're doing this 60-day fat loss thing with this group and these webinars, but people will take different things from different webinars based on what they want to learn at that moment in time.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's been awesome having my podcast where I've got different guests on, because different listeners prefer different guests. And they're like, oh, I love that guest. And I was like, what about this one? Didn't you like that one? I thought that one was better. They're like, no, this has been your best one yet. And I'm like, really? So different people have different perceptions and mindsets and views on life and other people. And I think diet is no different, and training programs are no different. So, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree. It is definitely tailored to the individual. I think with the 60-day thing that we are doing though, a lot of the people don't have a clue about like, what is in foods, and that's kind of like why we get them to track, to really open their eyes at what they're putting in their bodies.
Oh, it's definitely a good thing to do.
Yeah.
It's just, you just have certain people that just have no time to do these things. And before I'd be like, well, if you've got no time to invest in your health, then why are you bothering contacting me in the first place? Whereas really they have. But there's certain things they do and don't want to do.
Yeah.
And you can work with everyone based on their schedule or whatever, you know? What else was I going to talk to you about? How has been, because obviously we spoke about last time, you were leaving your job. That was your first day, wasn't it, in unemployment that you came on the podcast last time? How's the transition been from leaving the corporate world into running your own business?
It's been hard, not going to lie, because I've had structure and routine for like 10 years in my life, so I do like the same thing each day, like, whereas now I can do what I want which might sound really good, but actually it's like a double-edged sword, because like it's hard as well, because I could be so unproductive with my time and just do whatever. I don't actually have to motivate and drive myself to do things. I have to plan my time, plan my day to make sure I get things done, otherwise time will just run away with you.
Yeah. So almost two instances where you've had freedom, one with your diet and one with work and time freedom, and both times you've been craving that almost control back.
Yeah, I like to feel in control of things. I think most people do, don't they? Like have some kind of control, especially like when you've got like a lot of change going on in your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it's getting better, but it is like I love it though. That's the thing, and like I do feel like I work like a lot more, but it's work that I enjoy.
Does it feel like work?
No, it doesn't. That's what I mean. Like I enjoy it. I love it.
I've got a lot of listeners who I think want to transition into personal training because they're like, that looks like a great job. What advice would you give them if they're leaving a job? Because I think I've had multiple conversations, maybe 20 in the last few weeks, of people have been like, I want to be a personal trainer. Your podcast has motivated me to go and do that. What advice would you give them as someone who's listened to my advice and gone and left the corporate world to become a PT? What advice would you give them? Because it isn't instant, is it? You don't instantly get like this massive business, all these clients that are getting great results. It's not instant, is it?
No.
You've grown quite quickly as a personal trainer. What would you say?
It is at first like you have to put the hard work in, and it's not like you think that you'll be a personal trainer and it's just the hours that you do in the gym. It's not. It's a lot of work that you do at home in like program writing and planning.
Content.
Yeah, social media is massive, and it's definitely something that I would recommend. That's helped me like put my name out there, because I work in a gym which I didn't have, like, it's not near my house, so I didn't know any of the members that went there, so it's kind of like I had to get my name out there, and social media has definitely helped with that. So putting out good content probably is one of the best things that I've done and helped grow my business. And just like talking to people, like you can't be shy to talk to people. Like now, like if I go out, I just end up chatting to like everyone, because I just like, you just have to talk to people. And that's what it is. It's not more like anyone can tell someone what to do in the gym. It's how you talk to people and like engage with people and get their buy-in on how you're gonna like get them their results. Like you have to be a people person, I think, to be a personal trainer.
And I think almost even more important, not more important, but a great skill that I feel like I'm developing more now than I used to, would be to listen to people. One, I would be too afraid to open up the conversation in the first place because I was just nervous or whatever. But now I feel like if I'm going to have a chat with someone, I'll just listen for a long time to what they're currently struggling with or their life, and then I can present my services in a way that makes their life better. So you want to create a solution to their problem. That's what we do. But if you go and meet someone and be like, oh, I'm a personal trainer, I count calories, I count protein, do this and you'll be the same as me, they're just like, what the fuck, you're weird.
Yeah.
And there's being keen because you want to build up a client base that you want to do well in business, but you've also got to be like, it doesn't matter, this person doesn't care about my business. They do once they're on board, but initially all they care about is people are selfish, which isn't a bad thing. They want to feel better.
Yeah.
And as a PT, you can make every single person feel better, And if you're thinking, oh, I don't know if there's enough people that I can train, trust me, there is. That it could be someone that you would never thought would need a PT ever, but they would benefit from what you can give them from regards to nutrition, advice, exercise, motivation, like how they feel. Like a guy that I train now, I keep referring back to him, a lot of his training stuff is mindset based because he wants to perform better in a really busy business that he works. Therefore, a session with me in the morning just is his like get up and go. Everyone's got a different reason they want to train. Everyone wants to just lose body fat. Like he's also quite vain and wants to get a bit bigger as well and look a bit leaner like everyone. But see, everyone's why is different, and I wouldn't ever say someone. Yeah, it's such a cool job because every person is different you work with. So like, people are like, oh, all you do is work in a gym. It must get a bit boring, or that must be a cool life, or whatever. They've this like perception of what a gym personal trainer is like, when really it's really challenging.
You also like when people come in, like obviously at the beginning of my sessions, like I have to like talk to them and ask them how they are and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously like listen to what they've got to say, and like they use that as a chance, I think, to offload
100%.
like everything. So like that's good for them because they will just talk to you about their day and all their stresses. Like right, get that out of your system. Now let's like kind of go and train. So yeah.
Clients tell me things that don't tell anyone else.
Yeah.
So like as a personal trainer, get ready to be told things that people just, I don't know what it is. They just have this, they open up to you, and I'm just like, wow. So you need to be ready to be a counsellor at the same time as you are a personal trainer, because the more you can get them motivated, the more you're going to get their buy-in, the better the results they're going to be.
And in a way that's good because then it's the more you know about them, the more they obviously tell you, the more you know about them, the more you can help them. Exactly.
So yeah, don't get messed up to thinking all we do is count people's reps, because that's the last thing. I don't even count reps with my clients. I'm like, how many do you do?
Yeah. They ask me, how many have I got left? I'm like, 3.
Yeah, just completely guessing. It looks like you got about 10 more in the tank. Let's do 10. So it isn't rep counting. It isn't like it is.
It's coaching, isn't it?
Yeah, and it can be whatever you want it to be as well. Like you can, every personal trainer is different, and you can run your business however you want, which is the freedom that you probably want. But yeah, for me, it's the best job in the world. But for a lot of people, it won't be. And the dropout rates of PTs is like, it's frightening. People who qualify and then within a year they're gone.
Yeah.
So I think I've been doing this 5 years now. That's really rare to have someone do it for 5 years. And I'm not saying it has the whole time been like the best job in the world, because there have been times where I've been like, I went travelling for 3 months. That explains like I wanted to get away, but it's just the same as anything. Don't give up.
No, and I very nearly did. I did actually. I was crying at home because I was just like, I don't know if I've made the right decision, and it does get on top of you. But yeah, you kind of have to work through the hard times and have people there as well to support you.
Yeah. And I guarantee you in the next 12 months, you'll probably cry again.
Yeah.
Because it'll be like, this ain't working. But then if you look at your business, where it was then when you do cry, versus where it was 12 months ago, you'll be like, fucking hell, I made massive progress.
Yeah.
But as people, we're just, it's always going to happen.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of business it is, or no matter what kind of, it's always going to be hard. But it's just get up the next day, go again, dust yourself off and go again. And then within, like I say, 5-6 years, you'll be like, fucking hell, I can't believe I've done this. But then you'll still feel like, I've got to grow more, I've got to do more. And that's just people in general, I think. And I'm the worst because I've brought out Be More podcast and never let people settle down.
Yeah. The thing is that, do you ever feel like when you're like, oh my god, I think I've done everything, and then I don't like it because I'm like, I've forgotten something, I need to do something, and then I end up giving myself a load more work because I'm just like trying to do more.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, you're just always super busy.
We're never satisfied.
No.
As humans, we're never ever satisfied. And I think I have to almost schedule in time now that's downtime, just to let me have some downtime, because as a PT, like as a self-employed person, you've got, the more work you put in, the more you're getting out. And the people will say, yeah, but I'm working smart. So am I, dickhead. Like, I'm working smart and hard. So like, in order to get the most out of your business, you've got to be able to do both. And then you've also got to try and balance family life, relationships. Like, it isn't easy. So like, if you are going to be getting to PT, do it for the right reasons, and speak to me and Kayleigh, because we can definitely help people. And yeah, what else do you want to try and chat about today? It's been quite long so far.
Yeah.
What time is it? 10:40. Anything else you want to touch on today? What should we do future topics on? That's what we're going to ask.
Yeah.
So you let us know what you want us to do topics on in the future. Comment wherever you're listening, whether it's on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. Leave a review. Comment saying, do one on this or this, and we'll try and do like a monthly podcast together where we'll talk about diet from like a guy and a girl's perspective, because I could obviously talk from a guy's point. You can talk from a guy's point. That's very obvious.
Obvious.
But as hopefully giving you that different opinion.
And our insight into it, and the fact that we're not perfect personal trainers that have got it all sussed out, because
and in a month's time we'll go through all of the struggles we've had in the last month, which there'll be loads, and every day there'll be problems. So just remember that we are trying to be more, but we're also normal, and whatever normal is, so thank you for listening. I'll wrap up the podcast in a sec, and we'll see you soon.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you very much for listening. Me and Kayleigh would really appreciate your feedback, so please leave us a review wherever you are listening, and also leave us any questions you have for the next podcast, because me and Kayleigh want to share as much value as we can via this podcast. So every month we're going to jump on the podcast and share a nutrition topic with you guys to try and offer you some education, inspiration, and any kind of motivation we can around you and your compliance to your own diet to make you feel better, live a better life, and inevitably, hopefully, be more. So, any questions, leave them below, give us a review, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Have a great weekend.